Hello friends, I've done videos about this before and I'm going to talk about it again today, and that's visas. Getting the visa to come here. It's a very complex topic. It's confusing. The laws are changing all the time. So I'm going to tell you what I know when I come back.
Hey! Roger! Oh, Rocket Chick Roger! Hello there!
So everybody knows that you have to have a visa to come here. You don't have to have a visa to come here, but you have to have your passport, of course, obviously. And you have to have a valid passport that's good for at least 6 months, okay, in order to get into Ecuador. That's as of today. You also have to have a valid passport to get out of Ecuador as well. So, and then I know a lot of you are going to come back and say, what about the PCR test and the COVID test and all that stuff? That's not what this talk is about. This talk is only about getting your visa. And I'm going to try to explain it to you in a simplified manner so that it's not so complicated. To start with, if you want to live here for more than a year, okay, there are like 16 resident visa categories, most of which require you to apply for a 2-year temporary visa. When you come here, that's the visa that you're going to apply for. It's a temporary visa that's good for 2 years exactly. Now, whether it's a pensioner's visa or a worker's visa or an investor's visa, they're all the same. You still apply for a 2-year temporary residency visa. Okay? Now, there's three, and I just mentioned there's 3 main visa types. The workers, pensioners, or retirement. Keep your life simple, folks, and just come in on a pensioner's visa. If you're coming here to work, obviously then that's a given. You're going to want a worker's visa, and all you have to do, let's see here, according to my notes here, there are 3 types of visas that you really need to think about when you want to come to Ecuador. You either want a professional visa, which means that you're going to come here and work, okay, or you want a pensioner's visa, which means that you come here to retire here on your pension or your Social Security, sometimes referred to as one and the same, or you're coming here on an investor's visa. Now, for the sake of simplicity, I'm not going to go into any discussion about the investor visa. It's quite complex, it's complicated, it's lengthy. You need an attorney to help you set it up. Well, you really should have an attorney or at least a facilitator to help you set up any of these. But for the investor's visa, I'm going to leave a link in the description below that talks about everything that's required to get an investor's visa, okay? I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to go into it. I don't want to give anybody the wrong information about that. So let's just focus on 2 other visas, the workers or the professional visa or the pensioner's visa. Most people that retire and come here to Ecuador to live a life of retirement abroad come here on a pensioner's visa. All you have to have is show proof of at least 400 months. All you have to do is show proof that you make at least $400 per month, and you have to show. All right, so I'm gonna read it to you since I'm having so much trouble getting this out. You need proof of a retirement plan or a pension fund like Social Security that guarantees your pension income of at least $400 per month. If I read that like I have it on my notes, you would need God, this is terrible. I need a secretary. I need somebody to help me take notes. But anyway, for the pensioner's visa, you just need to show proof of income, okay? That's the main thing, proof of income. $400 per month. You need to show, you know, if you're on Social Security, all you need is your Social Security income verification letter that has to be authenticated by the United States Department of State, okay? Or you have to show proof of a pension, like from a company pension, all right? You have to have proof of that, and it has to be Apostilled, just like the Social Security income verification letter does, okay? For a professional visa, you need to show proof of income of at least $400 per month or show proof of at least $9,000 in savings. So that's your worker's visa. You're going to come here and work. They want to make sure that you're stable and you're solid, you've got good foundation underneath you, and you're not going to come here to milk off of the system. So you need to have little, I call it a nest egg, and you need to show that you have income, and that's no problem. The easiest pension visa that I know of, based on my experience, is the pensioner's visa. In regards to, how you're going to get your visa, there's a lot of debate around here about whether you should use an immigration lawyer or a facilitator. Now, I used an immigration lawyer. I used Gringo visa. It cost me $1,550 to hire them. Now, it would have cost me $1,750 if it wasn't for the fact that I'm over 65. The pensioner's visa is $400 per person. I got it for $200, so my fee to Gringo visa was $1,550. That included all the services that they were going to do for me, translating all my documentation to Spanish, getting everything filed, file the application, make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. And that's what they did for me. Now, let me give you what I think you should do. If you're still in the United States, start your visa process right away. As soon as you know that you're going to make this move, start the process. Whether you do it through a facilitator or you do it through an immigration lawyer. The first thing you're going to have to do in the United States is get all your documentation together. They want to see, Ecuador wants to see that you're not a criminal coming here to hide. So you have to have an FBI background check. And then once you get that, it has to be apostilled, which just means it's authenticated by the Department of State to show that it's real, okay? The state that you're living in, for the state that you're living in, you have to have the state background check as well as the FBI background check. Now, in my case, in Arizona does not provide background checks for the purposes of immigration, but they will provide you with a letter that you can present to Ecuador that states that they don't provide background checks for immigration purposes, and that will suffice. Even at that, you still have to have that document apostilled by the Secretary of State from the state that you're from. The third document, of course, is your income verification. In my case, I had to have the Social Security income verification letter, and the caveat to that was that it had to be signed. They don't put a signature on there. Before the pandemic, you could walk into any local Social Security office and ask someone for a Social Security income verification letter, and you can ask them, the person that hands it to you, to sign it. Problem solved. For all I know, it could be the janitor in the building. But whoever hands you the paperwork should have their signature on it, just for the sake of documentation and to satisfy the Ecuadorian immigration authorities. It's a pain in the butt, I know that. I had to, because of the pandemic, I couldn't walk into a Social Security office in Apache Junction, Arizona, which is where my closest office was to me here in Mesa. I had to do it all by mail. When I first called them, I asked them about getting the income verification letter and having it signed, and of course I got a girl that, I'm not going to say anything bad, I got a girl that said we don't do that. Typical government employee response. That's not my job. But anyway, I ended up having to send her a copy of the letter from my attorney requesting that signature before I could actually get a signed copy of my Social Security income verification letter. Once you have that Social Security verification letter and your FBI background check, because those are federal documents, they have to go to Virginia to the U.S. Department of State, and they have to be apostilled. Now you can go to the U.S. Department of State website, I don't know what it's called, but Google it, okay? And and you can go to their site. There is a online form that you can do a search on their site for and put Apostilled documentation, and you'll find the link to get to. I'll tell you what, I'll do this for you. I'll put it in the description below, okay? I'll put the link to the site where you go to get your documentation that you need to fill out. You need to print it up and fill it out and send that in with your copy of not a copy, but your original FBI report that gets sent to you from the FBI, and the original documentation that you got from the Social Security Administration showing your income. There's a form you filled out for both of these documents. You'll have to put a check in there for the fee. It's less than $10, I believe. I would put a self-addressed stamp envelope in there too, and that's what you're going to mail off to the U.S. Department of State. For the state paperwork, for your state background check, you can go to your local Secretary of State and get it apostilled there. Now, of course, I couldn't just walk into the state in Arizona because of the pandemic. I ended up mailing mine in, but I found the form online on the State of Arizona website, or the Secretary of State website, and I did a search on Apostilled. I found the form, I downloaded it, printed it up, filled it out, and I sent it to them with the documentation from the letter that I got from the Department Motor Vehicle Division, or the Department of Public Safety in Arizona, that say that they don't provide background checks for immigration purposes. I got that back within like 3 weeks. The documentation from the Department of State, U.S. Department of State, took about 11 weeks to get back. As a matter of fact, I didn't have it back by the time I got to Ecuador. So I had to have that. It finally arrived, I think, a week after I got here. It finally arrived at my address in Arizona. And then when my friends got back to Arizona that came down here with me, they packaged it all up and sent it to me. Sent it via DHL. 7 pieces of paper cost me $110 at DHL to get it sent here. But that's it. Once you have all that documentation together, you either take it to your facilitator or you send it to your immigration attorney that you hired. They'll take all that paperwork, translate everything into Spanish, go fill out the application, and they will present your application to the Department of Civil, something like that, here in Ecuador. You could do all this in the States before you come here if you want, and you can go to your local consulate if you have one in your area. But you know, I kept it simple. I mean, I used an immigration attorney, so I did everything the way I'm telling you here. Now, the one thing that I did not do, I didn't have to go, since I'm here in Manta, my attorney was in Cuenca, I would normally have had to have gone to the immigration office in case they wanted to interview me. I avoided that by sending a power of attorney to my attorney, and I had to send my passport to her along with all my other documentation, and my attorney represented me at the Department of Ministry, and I didn't have to go. Now, I had to pay like $90 to get that power of attorney and to get it notarized. Yeah, 90 bucks. And then I had to go to the municipal building here in Manta, which is where the notary was, and that's how we got that taken care of. So that's how I got my visa. I hope that's clear. I know it's confusing. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment below. Email me if you want to, and I will do your research for you. I'll find out everything I can for you for your specific case. Now, there are a lot of people think that, I want to just say briefly about this investor's visa. I came here with the purpose of getting an investor's visa, but because the process was so complicated and required me well, there were some strict requirements, we just didn't want to deal with it. My attorney suggested that it was much easier for me just to go ahead and get the pensioner's visa. One of the things that kind of helped fast track my visa was that I went to a bank and bought some CDs. So I invested in Ecuador. I put my money in a bank here, and I invested in CDs. These are the CDs that I get 8.5% on. And I get paid every month on these CDs. So I did this with a pensioner's visa. It helped get the visa process fast-tracked, to my understanding, because I had already gone to the bank and got invested in the Ecuadorian economy. Okay, that was quite an ordeal to go through with that too. Maybe I should do a video about the process of buying CDs, because it's not as simple as walking into the bank and say, here's my money, I'd like to buy a CD. It doesn't work that way. I'll do another video. I'm sure I'm going to get some questions about that now. So anyway, folks, that's it. I hope that's understandable. I hope that helps you. I want to thank you for watching. As of today, I need 2 more subscribers to get 1,000 subscribers for my channel. I thank you, those of you who have subscribed, and I appreciate every thumbs up I get, and I appreciate the thumbs downs that I get. I get some of those too. So not everybody's going to like what I do. Maybe I don't sugarcoat this enough. I don't know. But anyway, thank you to you, those of you who are subscribing to my channel. And if you want to be notified when I'm posting a new video, don't forget to ring the bell. Okay? That's it. From a kind of a cloudy day here in Manta, in the Manabi province. Ciao.